Content warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the hit list. You can't escape. Your face on the news. Don't mess with fate. Locked up in prison. Wood chipper running hot. Police on a mission. Hope you don't get caught. Silver bracelets tight. Get arrested tonight. In this endless fight. Can't hide from the light. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah, yeah. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh. Whoa, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just when you thought you could turn your back and walk away, the dark cloud of human indignity follows you. You have no choice but to turn and look it in the eye. It's the sex offender hit list.
A teacher behind bars accused of having an improper relationship with a student. Around 6 last night, deputies were called to a home under construction on Citadel Point and Garden Ridge for a suspicious person. When they arrived, they saw 51-year-old Jennifer Massey and a male juvenile in the home. Deputies say the two had allegedly engaged in a sexual contact. Massey is a teacher at Davenport High School. She's being held at the Comal County Jail.
It's our big story this Friday night, a delayed court date for the teacher accused of child porn. 25-year-old Jordan Palomares will have to wait until next week to face a judge for the first time. But tonight, we are learning new details about the charges against him. And a parent is talking about the arrest of the Deep Creek Middle School teacher. Then in your side's Chris Horn has the new information. Chris?
Tom, Jordan Palomares is facing charges for allegedly having disgusting videos and then sharing them on social media. I spoke with the mother of one of his students who says what he told her daughter and how he arranged the students in class is also disturbing.
It made me sick to my stomach. It was disgusting.
Brandy Hoover's daughter is a 6th grader at Deep Creek Middle School. 4 of her 7 daily classes were with Jordan Palomares.
He made inappropriate comments to her about his fiance or his girlfriend. And I won't say what it was in detail, but it's something a 25-year-old should not be saying to an 11-year-old.
Court documents show that Palomares shared obscene videos on Snapchat in June. Police say they included girls ranging in age from about 4 to about 10, and they're engaged in sex acts with adult men. In addition, Hoover says her daughter told her about some disturbing seating arrangements in her classes.
From what I understand, he made all the girls sit in the front of the classroom and made all the boys sit in the back.
But then it went further.
And he had what he called a special chair that was by his desk, by his chair, and only girls were allowed to sit in it.
In a letter to parents after his arrest, Chesapeake school officials said Palomares was background checked by Virginia State Police, FBI, and Virginia Social Services. Now, Hoover is trying to console her daughter, who thought she could trust her teacher.
She was like, "Mom, you know, I'm so disappointed. I trusted him. We liked him. And, you know, it hurts. It hurts because here's somebody that my daughter was confiding in every day."
In a letter, the Deep Creek principal told parents, "We will take any necessary actions based on the outcome of the investigation, and there's no indication that these allegations involved any students or took place on school grounds." So that's what the letter said, but is that entirely the case? A detective wrote in a court document that in some of the still images police confiscated, there was a student, but it's not described as obscene. Chesapeake police would not confirm whether it was a Deep Creek student. Police also say that Palomares confessed that he had an addiction and had been looking at child sexual abuse material since he was 12. He has a bond hearing Tuesday. Chris Horn, 10 in your side.
Some disturbing details. Thank you, Chris. And you can see all of our coverage of this story so far right now on wavy.com.
The Arvin High School teacher charged with multiple sex acts with a minor reappeared in court on Tuesday. I'm Priscilla Lara, your neighborhood reporter. During the hearing, Arvin PD discussed evidence and previous interviews with those involved.
Arvin PD arrested Para on November 15, 2023, after his wife found sexually explicit conversations between Para and an underage female. During the investigation, Officer Adam Huber with Arvin PD says they discovered a futon bed and a sleeping bag in the attic of Para's fabrication shop on campus. Some of the evidence found by Officer Huber was discussed at the hearing.
Do you notice anything that you observed on the actual sleeping bag?
Yes.
What did you observe?
I observed what appeared to be a shadow or a stain of a hand.
In addition to discussing the evidence, Huber and Detective Aaron Taylor with APD answered questions regarding previous interviews with those involved, including the minor and Para's wife. According to Taylor, the minor was interviewed by the PD a total of 3 times. During the 3rd interview, Taylor says the minor stated she hadn't been telling them the complete truth about the number of times she and Para were sexually involved, originally saying it happened twice, but really happened 5 to 10 times.
And she told you on that day that she hadn't been honest with you on November 15th, is that correct?
She said she hadn't been completely honest on the 15th. That's why she came back on the 16th to be completely honest with Officer B.
As a result, the defense asked Judge Brian K. Stainfield to dismiss counts 4, 5, and 6 because of lack of credibility by the minor for not being completely truthful during her interview with Arvin PD on November 15th. But Judge Stainfield denied the request.
It does appear for purposes of the preliminary hearing that the counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, it does appear that those crimes have occurred for purposes of this preliminary hearing.
According to the Kern High School District, Para has been on mandatory unpaid leave of absence since his arrest.
Para is slated to return to court on October 30th. For 23 ABC, I'm Priscilla Lara, your neighborhood reporter.
A developing story. Coach at a Valley school arrested by Scottsdale police accused of luring a minor. Jason Imhoff facing several charges, including aggravated luring of a minor for sexual exploitation. 45-year-old was a coach at the Austin Center's special education school system here in the Valley. In a statement to Fox 10, Austin Center says Imhoff was removed from any contact with students as soon as administrators were informed of the investigation, and that the welfare and safety of students is their highest priority.
And two Socorro ISD employees are being accused of sexually abusing two separate students during two separate incidents. According to court documents obtained by KTSM, 52-year-old Rodolfo Laureano, a school bus driver, and 36-year-old David Hernandez, a school security officer, have both been placed on administrative leave. The documents state that during the first instance, a school bus surveillance footage shows Laureano grabbing a 10-year-old female student's hand and pulling her towards him, inappropriately touching the child under her shirt. Laureano also attempted to kiss the victim before dropping her off.
During the second instance, a 15-year-old student from Eastlake High School told an SISD police officer that the other employee, Hernandez, had inappropriately touched her, at the softball field. That student said she was at the field when Hernandez drove up in a school vehicle. Those documents go on to say Hernandez then made an inappropriate comment about the type of shirt she was wearing and inappropriately touched her under her shirt. He then asked the student to take a picture of Hernandez touching her. Hernandez also allegedly touched himself over his clothing and showed the student an inappropriate video of himself. Both men have been arrested by the Socorro Independent School District and charged with indecency of a child.
A former DeKalb County schools teacher and coach convicted of sex crimes against students is now being sued by two of his victims. Dustin Wade Dalton pleaded guilty to those crimes in 2021. The plaintiffs in the case are two of Dalton's former students. They're seeking damages for emotional distress caused by his crimes.
All right, first at noon, this Lake Mary High School teacher is facing charges accused of having sexual conversations with a student over text messages, including sending a nude photo. It's a disturbing story we've been on since yesterday. West 2's Dave McDaniel joins us live from the school this afternoon. And Dave, this man also coached the girls' soccer team.
That's right. He's an assistant coach. He's also an advanced placement instructor. But as you mentioned, right now, he is in jail facing criminal charges. 55-year-old Richard Colon has been with Seminole County Schools for nearly 30 years, now placed on leave, accused of obscene communication and using a computer to lure a child.
From what I understand, it's involving one person, but again, I don't have any information.
In the just released arrest report, Colon and the victim were having sexual conversations via text over multiple applications while the victim was at her home, and Colon would explicitly describe sexual acts involving himself and the victim. The report says Colon sent inappropriate images of himself to the victim and that he detailed descriptions of sex acts.
If there's ever any kind of an allegation, we always want to encourage anyone with any additional information to go ahead and come forward, call Crime Line.
Presently, Richard Colon is in the Seminole County Jail being held without bond. He is scheduled to go before a judge this afternoon. Reporting live in Seminole County, Dave McDaniel, West 2 News.
A Filer Elementary School teacher pleaded not guilty to rape. Online court records show Jacob Mishler is charged with rape from an incident in 2012. A criminal case was filed against Mishler last month. Mishler is a teacher in the Filer School District. The district said in a statement, quote, "We can confirm the teacher involved has been placed on administrative leave." Filer School District is committed to maintaining a safe and secure learning environment for all students, and we are taking every necessary measure to ensure that this remains the case. Mishler's jury trial date is set for February of 2025.
Farmington Public Schools employee facing a charge of second-degree sexual assault. Court documents show that Clayton Sally, accused of engaging in sexual conduct with a minor. Sally was arrested yesterday, now out on a $25,000 bond. Now, Washington County Prosecutor Matt Durrett says no other information about the charges are available at this time because the alleged victim in this case is a minor. However, Durrett says Sally is due in court on October 21st. We also reached out to the Farmington School District, but they did not provide any additional information. We did check the Farmington School Staff Directory, and at last check, Sally was still listed on the district's website. We also just reached out to Sally directly for a comment, but have not heard back.
A former community coach in Columbia County is charged with improper sexual conduct by a teacher. 30-year-old Montel Waters is right there on your screen. In a letter sent home to parents, school leaders say Evans High administrators heard about an inappropriate relationship with a student and Waters. They say it happened off campus. School district police were contacted, and officials say Waters no longer works for the school.
And breaking now at 5, Hamilton County Prosecutor Melissa Powers just announcing charges against a former St. Xavier High School employee. Our Courtney King has the latest on the case and also the school's reaction at the alert desk.
Yeah, Megan, so this is a lot to break down, but we'll start with this. 42-year-old Emily Nutley is facing 6 counts of sexual battery for allegedly engaging in unlawful sexual relationship with a student at St. X. So here's what we know about the investigation and allegations. In the fall semester of last year, Nutley was a supervisor of a program to help students struggling with academics. The victim in this case, a 17-year-old boy, had been assigned to the program. According to the prosecutor's office, Nutley started having additional contact with the victim outside of school hours. Prosecutors say the contact allegedly included nude photographs and sexually explicit messages. In November of last year, Nutley allegedly started a physical relationship with the student. We're told at least 2 of the alleged sexual encounters happened on campus, including one time where Nutley and the student had sex in her office after hours. Prosecutors say when the victim tried to stop the encounters, Nutley continued to contact him via text. This all came to light after an internal investigation by administrators. Hamilton County Prosecutor Melissa Powers released a statement that reads in part, "Let me be very clear, this is child sexual abuse. This child was a victim of an adult predator who should have never again have a role that put her in contact with children." Tim Riley, the president of St. X, also released a statement that reads in part, "At this time, we respectfully ask for continued prayers for the well-being of our students, their families, our entire staff, and for all the individuals impacted by abuse. We remain committed to providing a safe, supportive, and nurturing environment for our entire St. Xavier community." Now, if convicted on all charges, Nutley faces the possibility of up to 15 years in prison and will have to register as a sexually oriented offender.
Good evening, I'm Drew Ammon.
And I'm Megan Mannering.
A former Madison County school janitor is charged after allegedly having inappropriate contact with a student.
LEX 18 spoke with the alleged victim's parents. Lauren Miner has more on why they're looking to the school board for answers.
A former Madison County middle school janitor has been charged with sexual abuse connected to an incident that allegedly happened while he was working at Ferristown Middle School in Berea. 63-year-old Larry Wilson was arrested on the charge last week, but police say the incident happened in March. In May, LEX 18 spoke with the parents of the 13-year-old alleged victim in the case.
She was actually in the front office, and she was called down to the janitor's office and told her a few things, you know, would you like some lunch? And then ended up, it went totally rogue from there, that she was told that she's the prettiest girl in the school and that he loves her. Gave her a hug, and then his hands went down to her rear end and made her feel really uncomfortable.
They said they waited a month to speak to school officials.
It could affect somebody's life with these accusations. We wanted to make sure that we were confident in the decision to move forward and come up with the right decision.
The parents tell LEX 18 that someone with the school board came to talk with their daughter without making them aware, and that the principal then, quote, gave the janitor a talking to and then allowed Wilson to continue working. Later, on May 10th, the school system notified Wilson that they were placing him on paid suspension. Wilson then submitted a letter of retirement, meaning he wouldn't return to Ferristown Middle.
That wasn't good enough. We wanted more answers. I want the school board to acknowledge that the process was not taken serious, and I want somebody or some people to be held accountable for their actions of not the proper process of handling the situation.
I did reach out to Madison County Schools for a statement. They responded by saying, quote, Larry Wilson retired at the end of last school year and no longer works for the district. The district was not notified of his recent arrest or the charges against him. At this time, the district is not able to make any comment regarding this matter, end quote. Wilson was released on bond. According to court records, he is set to be arraigned on October 14th. In Madison County, Lauren Miner, Evening Edition.
A former substitute teacher for Huron Valley Schools is charged with 6 counts of second-degree criminal sexual conduct. Thank you for joining us for CBS News Detroit at 5. I'm Terrence Friday.
I'm Shayna Humphreys. The suspect was back in court today for a preliminary hearing. CBS News Detroit's Jack Springate joins us live outside the 52nd District Court in Novi. Jack, what's the latest?
Well, we were here today to listen in on testimony from Timothy Allen Doherty's alleged victims, as several children, some of them as young as 9 years old, had to face Doherty in court today as they took to the witness stand to share their stories. Now, Doherty was present at the beginning of this hearing, and he's currently out of custody on a $75,000 bond. That was before the courts asked everyone to leave ahead of witness testimony, including parents through the age of the victims. A parent of one victim said she felt infuriated and that it made her sick to see Doherty in person. Attorneys are gearing up to file a civil suit on behalf of at least 11 families who've been impacted by these alleged acts. All they're waiting for is a copy of the police report before they're ready to officially file that. The investigation into these accusations shows that 10 of these victims had inappropriate interactions with Doherty while he was a substitute teacher at Spring Mills Elementary School in Highland Township. Here's how some of their parents are reacting to seeing Doherty in person today.
Anger, fear.
Not fun.
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
Disbelief. It's hard to imagine that a single person can affect so many lives in such a way and not show remorse.
Now, following the testimony of 3 young victims, the judge deemed there was enough evidence to bring Doherty to trial, where he could face a 15-year prison sentence if he's found guilty. The judge did not set a date for that trial during this hearing. For now, reporting live in Novi, I'm Jack Springate, CBS News Detroit.
An incredibly sad story. We'll keep following it. Jack, thanks.
A former Jefferson Parish teacher's assistant was convicted after he tried to pay a student for sex. Yesterday, a jury found 42-year-old Lance Johnson guilty of indecent behavior with a juvenile and soliciting and prostitution of a juvenile. Investigators say Johnson has made numerous sexual advances to the victim while at the school and even drove to the victim's home, offering $80 for sex. Johnson will be sentenced Wednesday, November 6th.
A former JCPS educator and coach has been indicted on more than 30 charges of sex abuse. 50-year-old Christopher Morris was indicted on 2 counts of unlawful transaction with a minor under the age of 16, 17 counts of sexual abuse, 17 counts of sodomy, and 1 count of unlawful possession of a weapon on school property. He was originally arrested a little bit after June after a student alleged Morris had sexually abused him multiple times. A JCPS spokesperson said he was terminated on August 26. He is expected back in court on September the 6th.
Former elementary school teacher in Hudson is now set to stand trial. Madison Bergman is charged with starting an inappropriate relationship with her 5th grade student. Tonight, Jennifer Hoff has details from Bergman's first time facing a judge.
24-year-old Madison Bergman facing a judge for the first time Monday since being arrested and charged 5 months ago for having an alleged relationship with a student. Bergman was a 5th grade teacher at Rivercrest Elementary in Hudson when the district attorney says the principal contacted school resource officer Tracy Hall with information about the suspected inappropriate contact and had proof.
You take the stand.
That Hall detailed on the stand, answering questions about the more than 33,000 explicit text messages between Bergman and the victim that date back to last year, as well as emails and handwritten notes the state says proves the two touched, kissed, and wanted the relationship to escalate, some of which the boy confirmed in a police interview.
How often did he say they'd communicate?
daily.
Bergman's counsel, well-known defense attorney Joe Tamburino, tried to argue the state's definition of certain body parts and whether the victim was specifically touched there.
Did he ever say that was touched? No.
But I already concluded, based upon a number of cases that we cited and we walked through together, that it isn't necessary for that specific word to be used.
Bergman faces 10 felony counts, including sexual misconduct, and has since resigned, the judge finding enough evidence that the case will continue.
Joe, do you guys care to give a response to what happened today? No, nothing today. Thank you.
The judge acknowledging today's lengthy discussion about those very specific points was valuable, but ultimately ruled that the state in fact proved that there was enough probable cause, and Bergman will officially be arraigned now 1 month from today. In Hudson, Jennifer Hoff, KARE 11 News.
We begin with breaking news at noon. A high school teacher at John A. Ferguson Senior High School is arrested, accused of having a sexual relationship with one of his students. Good afternoon. I'm Maribel Rodriguez. Police say the victim's best friend contacted the school after learning about the relationship. CBS 4's Peter Dench is live in West Miami-Dade with the details. Peter?
Well, Maribel, we're told by the school system that 27-year-old Aaron Hamid had been a social studies teacher here at John A. Ferguson Senior High School for the past 4 years. The victim reportedly told school's police that they had been intimate for about a year, starting when she was 16 years old and in 11th grade. An arrest report says at the start of the pandemic, the teen was in Aaron Hamid's advanced placement U.S. history course, which he attended via Zoom. Hamid and the teen reportedly started talking out of class using the Remind communication platform and later exchanged phone numbers. The teen's best friend notified a staff member at the high school who contacted the police. According to the report, a school's police officer said, "I interviewed the witness and she explained that her best friend, the victim, was having an intimate relationship with her history teacher." The arrest report said Hamid would drive to the victim's home, pick her up, and take her to his own home here in Cutler Bay, where they had sex in the home and in his car. The report added the victim stated that the defendant contacted her the morning when this incident was reported, and she deleted content that could be incriminating from her phone. In a statement, Miami-Dade Public Schools says an allegation of this nature against any one of our employees is disheartening and illicit behavior will not be tolerated. Miami-Dade County Public Schools will continue to remind employees of their professional, moral, and ethical duties and responsibilities. As a result of this arrest, the individual's employment with Miami-Dade County Public Schools will be terminated immediately, and he will be prevented from seeking future work with the district. Hamid's arrest comes on the heels of a series of arrests of Miami-Dade schools teachers this fall for inappropriate relationships with students. Now, Hamid faces 3 felony counts, including unlawful sexual activity with a minor. The school system says that he has no prior disciplinary history. We also checked the records and found out that he's only been cited before for traffic infractions, including speeding and careless driving. We'll have much more on this story tonight on CBS 4 News, starting live at 5. We are live in West Miami-Dade. Peter Dench, CBS 4 News. Maribel, back to you.
At 4:30, an academic counselor at Ole Miss and former teacher at West Union Attendance Center has been indicted by a local grand jury on a charge of child enticement. Union County Sheriff Jimmy Edwards confirms that Lauren Kennemore was booked into his jail yesterday. A grand jury handed up that indictment. Kennemore was formally indicted on enticement of a child. This is the copy of the indictment. It alleges that Kennemore enticed a student. It specifically alleges Kennemore intentionally persuaded, seduced, and solicited a 17-year-old to engage in sexually explicit conduct. The indictment alleges it happened between February and March of this year. The sheriff confirmed to WTVA 9 News Kennemore was a teacher at West Union during that time. He also told us that she was fired from her job. Kennemore is an academic counselor at Ole Miss. The university shows that she works in the School of Journalism and New Media. The school says she is now on leave. Child enticement, by the way, is a felony. She could get 5 to 40 years in prison, as well as fines if she's convicted. We are watching.
A former Winnipeg teacher is facing serious criminal charges, including sexual assault, possession of child porn, and voyeurism. In July, police say they were told about disturbing cell phone images Investigators searched the device, finding pictures and videos of children and adults in change rooms of a pool in the Maples neighborhood. Police say 37-year-old Matthew James Mousseau was arrested last week and was released from custody. Constable Claude Chansey says the man worked at several Winnipeg schools to May of this year.
Information came to light during the investigation, which led investigators to believe that the suspect had previously inappropriately engaged with a student while he was teaching at a high school in a North End neighborhood.
Well, hello everyone. It is digital host AJ Weiss with a developing story for you all. A former DeKalb County teacher convicted of sex crimes involving students is now being sued by the victims and their fathers. The father, identified only as John Doe, filed the lawsuit against Dustin Dalton. Now, the lawsuit alleges Dalton exploited his position as a teacher and a coach at Sylvania High School to groom and engage in sexually inappropriate behavior with 2 minors. Dalton pled guilty 2 years ago and was sentenced to prison with 3 years to serve behind bars. Now, the lawsuit seeks punitive and compensatory damages. This is all the information we have at this time, but with WAFF 48, I'm digital host AJ Weiss, and I'm on your side.
Kevin, thank you. The Rio School District is investigating allegations against a staff member. They may have had inappropriate interactions with one or more students. According to a statement sent to families, the district is working with law enforcement during the investigation. The staff member is not returning to schools for the foreseeable future. Further details have not been shared. The Sun Prairie
The Treasure Coast school leaders in St. Lucie County are reassuring parents their children are safe after an elementary school teacher was arrested and is now facing felony charges.
Treasure Coast Bureau reporter Josie Carbonari is in Port St. Lucie with what parents are saying.
The incident didn't happen here at the school, but the district does tell us that teacher has since been placed on temporary duty assignment. This is 41-year-old Ryan Zachrasek, who was arrested on Monday. He teaches 5th grade at Alapetta Flats K-8 school in Port St. Lucie and faces felony charges including domestic assault, battery, and false imprisonment of a child, as well as cruelty towards a child. According to investigators with the Port St. Lucie Police Department, a female victim told them he was drunk, acting violent, and would not let her leave. Arresting documents show he threatened to kill her and others in a home with a gun, and at one point also with a knife. The victim alleges he then told her to perform a sexual act, which she says she did because she believed it would get her out of the violent situation. We spoke with parents, all who were emotional hearing the news.
Shock. It's scary. You have children, you have grandchildren. You send them to school to be safe, and then you hear this. Disgusting. You know, frightening.
It's just sad. Anytime anybody do this, you know, from a teacher to a governor or to the president, it's sad that somebody would take advantage of somebody else, you know, no more or less a kid. You don't know what somebody is gonna do.
The district says parents of his students have been notified about the arrest. Reporting from Port St. Lucie, I'm Josie Carbonari, WPBF 25 News.
Law enforcement officers are urging parents to check up on their children after the arrest of a high school PE teacher.
He worked at a religious school in Ocala. TV20's Emma DeLama tells us how police say he met the 16-year-old victim.
Ocala police say a mother alerted officers, saying a teacher at First Assembly Christian School was sending her daughter inappropriate images. They arrested 25-year-old Isaiah Page on 29 charges, including possession of child pornography. Page and the 16-year-old girl communicated on Snapchat, where detectives found explicit photos and videos. According to the report, their conversation started October 3rd, turning sexual by the 10th when the teen sends Page an inappropriate video. TV20 received a statement from the school saying in part, quote, Mr. Page's employment has been terminated effective immediately, and he is no longer permitted on church or school property or at any school events. Page was a PE teacher at the school where he knew the victim.
I think they'll certainly be a lot more careful about their selection process, who gets appointed as teachers. I'm afraid everybody will make a big deal of it simply because they want to attack God in any way they can.
OPD leaders hope this strikes up conversations between parents and children.
If parents know what's going on in their children's digital world, it can help prevent issues like this from happening.
In hopes of preventing more cases like this from happening again.
We really want to stress how important it is for parents to know what's going on with their children online, know who they're talking to, know what kind of apps they have.
Page was booked into the Marion County Jail on a $725,000 bond. In Ocala, Emma Delamo, TV 20 News.
A former North Mississippi teacher is facing disturbing charges after an alleged sexual relationship with a 17-year-old student.
Lauren Kennemore of Pontotoc is listed as an academic advisor at the University of Mississippi, but has been placed on leave.
Kennemore has been indicted on charges of child enticement. WRG's Mike Sirianni has more on the accusations and reaction from the students at the university.
Lauren Kennemore is listed as an advisor at the School of Journalism and New Media here at the campus of the University of Mississippi. News of her arrest and the charges against her came as quite a shock to one student I talked to.
Yes, well, I met her once. We got new advisors this year, and so it was my first time meeting with her. I sat down for maybe like 10 minutes. She gave me my schedule.
And says she had no idea the woman had been charged with enticement of a child stemming from an alleged incident in Union County.
So it's really shocking to hear that happened.
I think the victim's word will go a long way in what happens.
Sheriff Jimmy Edwards says accusations from a student at West Union Attendance Center outside New Albany led to Kennemore's arrest.
We went out and investigated and took some statements, talked to some people, done some search warrants and things of that nature, and ended up presenting our case to the grand jury.
The sheriff says the grand jury returned an indictment against Kennemore, a teacher at the school who has since been fired by the Union County school system. According to the indictment, the student is 17 and the alleged incident occurred between February and March of this year at the school. The indictment states in part that Kennemore intentionally seduced and solicited the student for the purpose of engaging in sexually explicit conduct. Kennemore has been placed on leave by the University of Mississippi.
I know I just checked this morning actually and saw that I got a new advisor.
For your news leader in Oxford, Mike Sirianni, WREG News Channel 3.
Molly McBride at the First Alert Update Desk. CCSD police just announced they've arrested a coach on charges related to sexual misconduct with a student. 32-year-old Deshae Bowen Edwards was a coach at Legacy High School and a contractor with communities in schools. He's worked for the district since 2017. His arrest stemmed from an investigation at the school. He's no longer allowed on campus.
A Suffolk police officer and a public school teacher accused of managing sex workers on Long Island. Former officer George Tremigliosi and Islip High School health teacher Stephen Airy pleaded not guilty. The charges connected to a business that they're accused of running on Sunrise Highway. Prosecutors say the operation came to light and started to unravel in March of 2021 when Tremigliosi got a call about a robbery at the alleged brothel.
Tremigliosi left his area of responsibility and without notifying anyone else in the police department, certainly without consent, he drove his marked police car at high rates of speed into an entirely different precinct because there had been a robbery at the prostitution business which he managed.
Another man and woman have also been arrested and charged in connection to the alleged brothel in West Babylon.
Tonight, a former Dakota teacher and football coach pleads guilty to child pornography.
He took a plea deal today. Daniel Sheets pled guilty to 1 count of child pornography in court. He'd been facing nearly a dozen counts of the crime, along with unauthorized videotaping. Last summer, Stevenson County investigators say someone filed a report saying Sheets had been engaging in inappropriate communications with several girls who were students in 2021. Sheets is due back in court for a sentencing hearing in December.
A former St. Xavier High School instructor is accused of an unlawful sexual relationship with a student.
County prosecutor Melissa Powers said the teacher was indicted for incidents that allegedly happened almost a year ago now. WCPO 9 News reporter Sam Harrell-Simwitz joining us live with the latest details in this breaking news this afternoon. Sam?
Correct, Tanya. Emily Nutley is facing 6 felony charges. She's accused of having sex with a 17-year-old boy who was in the academic program she supervised. The school confirmed to us that Nutley was the teacher removed for a possible boundary violation earlier this month. According to the prosecutor's office, Nutley was supposed to be helping the student improve his grades. He was assigned to Nutley's program last fall. According to the indictment, Nutley began to text the teenage boy outside of class time. Her messages were allegedly explicit and even included sexual photos. According to the prosecutor's office, the interactions became physical. She is accused of performing sexual acts on the victim on the school's campus, off the school's campus, and allegedly even in her office. The incidents allegedly happened in November and December of last year. The indictment said the victim tried to stop the encounters with Nutley, and she continued to text him. The investigation began internally by school administrators. Then Springfield Township Police began their own criminal investigation. Earlier this afternoon, we received a statement from St. Xavier High School. The school stated that they believe this was an isolated incident. The prosecutor's office told us they do not believe there are other victims at this time.
We begin today with something new for you at noon. Just 2 weeks after an Iroquois County agriculture teacher was accused of possessing child pornography, another teacher in the same county has been arrested. 23-year-old Bailey Bushong of Hoopston was arrested on charges of grooming her students and disturbing harmful material. Watseka police say she also showed some students pornographic images. Students were interviewed by police at the Child Advocacy Center in Watseka. Bushong was then arrested and taken to Iroquois County Jail. As of 11 a.m., Bushong is still listed in the staff directory on the Iroquois County CUSD website.
Shocked and outraged. That's what Kenosha County parents say they're feeling today.
This after a sheriff's deputy arrested an elementary school staff member for alleged sexual conduct with kids. Fox 6's Durante Matthews was in Silver Lake and has more from angry parents.
I'm disgusted, you know, these are young kids.
It's the same feeling from parent to parent.
It just blows my mind that something like this would happen at this school.
Families at Riverview Elementary are still in disbelief Thursday. Police say a female staff member who was supposed to be trusted with their kids may have taken advantage of them.
Very upset that she would choose to use potentially her position to abuse a child.
The Kenosha County Sheriff's Department tells Fox 6 News deputies arrested 33-year-old Anna Marie Crocker. Crocker is being investigated for misconduct with the current and former student. The department says the alleged misconduct did not happen on school property nor during school hours. It hits close to home for Jessica Deco, who says the woman was an aide to her child.
My heart just sunk. It, fell. We're still trying to deal with it.
Public records show Crocker was booked on charges for first-degree child sexual assault with a person under the age of 13, exposing genitals or intimate parts to a child exploitation, and possession of child pornography.
She deserves to be in jail. It's gross, and people like that don't deserve to be out because who knows how many more times it's going to happen.
Parents like Ashlyn Whitting says these situations calls for uncomfortable but necessary conversations with children.
We explain to them that sometimes there are adults out there who choose to make scary choices for children, and here are some of the warning signs.
I pray for all the other families that are dealing with this and friends and their kids.
Now, parents also tell me that this is a time for them to rally together to protect their kids. Silver Lake's district administrators tell me that they are cooperating with the criminal investigation and they have counselors available for students. Reporting in Silver Lake, Durante Matthews, Fox 6 News.
A school administrator in Westminster has been arrested, accused of sending inappropriate photos to an underage student. Officers arrested Tate Drain today. The 27-year-old works at Mountain Range High School, where he's been the dean of students since August 1st. He also coached girls basketball at Mountain Range and football at Thornton High School. He's been placed on administrative leave and will not work or coach in the district until further notice. Police say they made that arrest after several reports through the Safe to Tell app over the weekend. Drain was booked into the Adams County Jail on charges including sexual assault on a child.
I didn't want it to happen to anyone else.
Right now at 6 o'clock, only on 2, we're hearing from a 20-year-old who says he was sexually assaulted by the assistant principal of the school he once attended. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Daniela Guzman.
And I'm Keith Garvin. Brian Tigner is charged with sexual assault following the crime on September 27th. Police arrested him on Friday. KPRC2 reporter Corley Peel joins us live outside Westbury High School. She spoke with the man who reported the crime. Corley.
Keith and Daniela, the 20-year-old man, tells me he is traumatized. He says he first met Bryden Tigner while he was a student at this school 2 years ago. He says that Tigner reached out to him on Instagram after he graduated and they became friends. He says he would often go over to his apartment and they would drink alcohol and smoke weed. He says he never felt that his safety was in danger until now. Why is it so important for you to speak up?
I didn't want it to happen to anyone else. I know that he works with a lot of other kids, young men. Like, this could happen to anyone.
We sat down with 20-year-old Malachi Knight Boyle as he talked about the last time he hung out with Westbury High School assistant principal Bryden Tigner.
I was just chilling on the couch. We played the game. We were drinking, smoking, the usual, like how we usually would do. Like when I woke up, that's when everything happened.
Knight Boyle says he woke up to Tigner performing an unwanted sex act on him.
I just started fighting. I just started fighting him off.
Has he ever made a pass at you like that before?
No, nothing that I noticed, no.
He says Tigner tried to stop him from leaving.
Please, bro, let's talk about it. I'll send you $50. I'm like, bro, what you mean you're gonna send me $50? Well, I'm gonna do it, you know? He tried to offer me money.
Knight Boyle got away and called police. He was examined at the hospital where doctors noticed his bruised hand. When detectives spoke with Tigner, records show they noticed he had a black eye. He first told police he got it from breaking up a school fight, but detectives figured out that was not true. It was from Knight Boyle fighting him off. Tigner is out on bond, so I gave him a call.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
But he didn't pick up.
I feel like he needs to be held accountable. I'm glad that he's being charged.
You know, other people are going to be watching this. What would you encourage they do if they're in a situation like you've been in?
It's always going to be someone you can talk to. If something happens to you, you don't got to go through it alone.
Several students tell us that Bryden Tigner is someone that they often look up to as a role model, and they are shocked by his recent charge. HISD did send us a statement today saying that they are aware of this incident. They say it is protocol for any time an employee is charged with a crime for them to be removed from campus while that investigation is ongoing. At this time, HPD says they're not aware of any other victims, but they're encouraging anyone who might have information to contact their Special Victims Division, and we have that information at click2houston.com. Reporting live, Corley Peel, KPRC 2 News.
Well, a teacher's been arrested in Lodi accused of sexually abusing a child. Police arresting 23-year-old Sean Sorbera around 3:30 today. He's a Tokay High School teacher. Sorbera has been booked now into jail on charges of unlawful intercourse with a juvenile under 16. Police notified Lodi Unified School District as they were investigating. Sorbera was placed on administrative leave. They have not said if the victim was a student. Police say that the incident happened off campus.
School band teacher is now facing a 9th charge of child sexual assault. Fox 6 investigator Brian Polson is in the studio with us with one detail that makes this charge stand out above all the others. Brian?
Yeah, Ted, for more than 20 years, John Rash taught music at East Troy Middle School until he resigned in 2022. Last year, prosecutors charged him with sexually assaulting 8 different former students. Now, a 9th victim has come forward who had Rash as a student before some of the other victims were even born. When prosecutors first charged John Rash with sexually touching teenage girls during small group lessons, the Fox 6 investigators sat down with parents of the 4 victims.
It's not just us 4. I think everybody's naive if they think it's us 4 families.
They said Rash had brushed his hand over their daughter's breasts or other sensitive parts of their bodies during music lessons.
2 to 3 times per
3
lesson.
to 4 times per band
Multiple
lesson.
times, 5 to 10 times. It was enough to make her feel like it was wrong.
After that, 4 more victims spoke up, leading to new charges. Now, a 9th former student has come forward. A criminal complaint filed this week says the 33-year-old woman, identified only as Victim X, had Rash as a music teacher nearly 20 years ago in 2005, the same year some of the other victims were born. Victim X says in one particular lesson, Rash ran his hand up her leg and touched her private parts, causing her to cry. She told prosecutors she didn't tell anyone at the time because she was scared. The new allegations mean the sexual assault charges against Rash now cover a 14-year period from 2005 to 2019.
I believe he's a disgusting human being.
Rash surrendered his teaching license in 2022, but his day in court is yet to come.
John Rash is free on a $1,000 cash bond. His first appearance on the new charge is October 21st. Trial on the 8 other charges scheduled for December. Ted and Mary.
A former Elko School District teacher's aide convicted of having a sexual relationship with a student will spend 3 years in prison and 4 years on extended supervision. 34-year-old Ashley King of Delavan pleaded guilty to third-degree sexual assault and sexual assault of a student by school staff. She was sentenced today.
Questions.
A substitute teacher is under arrest in Fayetteville accused of sexually abusing a child.
Yeah, Brandon Cromartie is charged with indecent liberties with a student. The charges stem from incidents that happened last school year when a student who attended Luther Nick Gerald's middle school, where he was a substitute. Police say evidence recently brought to light initiated this investigation. Anyone with information on the case is asked to call Crime Stoppers.
Welcome to the hit list. You can't escape. Your face on the news. Don't mess with fate. Locked up in prison. Wood chipper running hot. Police on a mission. Hope you don't get caught. Silver bracelets tight. Get arrested tonight. In this endless fight. Can't hide from the light. Caught in the storm, future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Happy birthday, dear Ellie.
Now, Ellie, remember, this is our special secret.
Okay, Uncle Jim. 1 in 5 children is sexually abused before they turn 18.
Make a wish, but remember, it's a secret.
Do you know the signs?
I just want everyone to go home.
Learn more about the risks of child sexual abuse at sapria.org.
One for a rainbow, one for Amanda.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6, and I love unicorns.
Sexual predators are seeking kids online.
We don't know Amanda.
Learn how to report abuse at end-violence.org/protect.
When a child experiences trauma, they can be stripped of their ability to imagine. But imagination is colors. All the colors. Imagination is freedom. And whatever you want it to be. But a child without imagination is not a child at all. Will you help defend our right to imagine?